these curls will literally not separate. Like, whatever. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been so long. This has been the longest unplanned hiatus I've ever done from YouTube. I am so sorry. I'm hoping I can explain it a little bit in this video. I've had a couple of major life changes happen and I thought I would just sit down and fill you guys in on everything. And I know I've been a YouTuber for 15 years now. Has it been more than that? 16 years. Wow, I'm almost out of breath. I'm pregnant. That's one of the things I was going to tell you guys about. I am 22 weeks pregnant. My bump is bumping because this is my third pregnancy to make it. It's my 7th pregnancy, but it's my 3rd pregnancy to make it this far. I'll show you the bump here, but a little bit out of breath. Hopefully you can forgive that. I will talk about the pregnancy. I also want to talk about Blair's wedding because my sister finally got married and it has been so amazing. It just happened a couple of weeks ago. We're finally kind of coming down from the wedding planning high and like just the stress that happens right before, and then it's like so much fun for a few days and then you're just absolutely so tired after. It took me like a week of hibernating afterwards to even like feel like myself again. I also moved my shop, Glam Planner, to Nashville for the first time. We moved here in 2019, but we didn't end up moving Glam Planner here, so I'm gonna go over that as well. It is finally here. I'm sitting in the Glam Planner room. I moved it into my office, which is like kind of funny because this also is going to eventually be baby's room, so it's like, why are you moving a bunch of stuff in when you have plans to turn the room into something else? But that's a whole nother project for another day. I'm gonna actually just sit here and drink some water because I feel so out of breath. I like can't even do this video. I have never in my life been thirstier than I have been with this baby. Okay, so let's just get into it. So when I posted my last video, which was quite a while ago, I posted that video not intending for it to be my last video. I wasn't intending to go on a break. In fact, I had 2 more videos that I'd already filmed that I never got around to editing and uploading. I don't know why. I still have those videos. And I asked on Instagram, I did a vote, and 97% of people said they still wanted me to upload them. So I think I will put them up as my next 2 videos. So my next 2 videos are going to be probably, unless I change my mind, my C-section story time with my second baby and my baby name change video, which has been highly requested. So those were filmed a long time ago. I will look a little bit different in those videos because it was so long ago. I'm sure my hair was a little bit different. I think it was lighter, but I do want to put those up because I did film them. And then I'm hoping that I can like keep putting up content because I am feeling better. Obviously I'm pregnant. I tend to feel better in my pregnancies. That happens with a lot of autoimmune disorders. So hopefully I won't like fall off the face of the earth once I have this baby. If I have another flare up, I hope that because I'm medicated now for the first time, I wasn't on any sort of biologic with my first 2 children. I'm hoping that because I've just been on it through pregnancy and postpartum, I won't have as big of a flare up. So anyway, I filmed those 2 videos and I don't know what happened. Sometimes life has a way of just rolling on and you don't even realize if you're in a very unstructured season of your life, which I was, that time is flying by and you're not keeping up with things that in the back of your mind, you think you're just on a short break and it gets longer and longer and longer. And before you know it, it's actually so hard to come back because it feels so awkward. And that is the point that I got to around October of last year. So a whole year ago is when I was finally like, you know what? Blair started coming back to YouTube. She had been on a hiatus for like 8 years. So I was like, okay, well, mine isn't nearly as bad as that, right? I was like, I can do this. You know, she was like getting back into it. She was so excited about it, which by the way, if you're not following her or if YouTube has unsubscribed you, or if you just haven't caught up with her in a while, she has been making regular content and she just got married. So she has like marriage content and oh my gosh, it's so fun. Anyway, she totally inspired me to like get back into it. So this was in October, right? So in October of last year, I was also dealing with moving Glam Planner because our lease was up at our current commercial space and this was in Kingsport, and I had to make that decision of like, are we going to get a new commercial space? Am I just going to close Glam Planner completely? Because I was in this like really unsure part of my life where I was like, we want another baby. We were trying for another baby. It hadn't happened yet. And I was just trying to think of my future, but doing it very poorly because the biggest piece of the puzzle I didn't connect until after we moved into a new place. So we moved Glam Planner from one commercial space to another, a much, much better space. Oh my gosh, that second one was perfect. I wish we had gotten it from the start. I wish we had been in that space instead of the one before it from the beginning. We moved somewhere around November, I think, from the one place to the other. And that was very stressful because it was also during the holidays and there were a lot of moving parts. And through this, I completely blanked on the fact that James would be starting school this year. And in my mind, I had always said, okay, once my kids start school, it's not going to be feasible to have my business in another city, like 4.5 hours away. It's just not going to be, because up until now, I've been able to go, a week out of every month and work in person and then work remotely for the rest of the time. Well, that wasn't going to work once James was in school. I was no longer going to have the flexibility to go there just anytime I wanted, obviously. And I think in my mind, when we were doing this move in November, it was still so far away. The idea of James starting school in August was just like, that was a different lifetime from where we were dealing with in the moment. So we moved into this new space. It was super nice. We were really excited for a month, 2 months. Christmas went by, January went by. We were doing some de-stash deals to kind of downsize after the move and just like get everything really organized. I came back to Nashville sometime towards the end of January, and Alex and I had been talking for about a year that if we were not pregnant by January, by 2024 starting, we were gonna go to the fertility clinic and get some help because we were trying on our own, fully knowing that the chances of us getting pregnant on our own were very slim, because if you followed my journey trying to conceive baby number 2, we had 3 losses and we had to work with the clinic, and it took us 3 years. It was a nightmare. I have a lot of videos on it documenting my losses and my IVF thing and like all of that. The big thing stopping us is I was still breastfeeding Scott, our second child. So the fertility clinic wasn't going to take me while I was still nursing because of the hormones they give you. It's not compatible with breastfeeding. So I knew that I was going to have to wean him before going to the clinic. And I kept thinking, maybe I'll just get pregnant on my own. I knew the chances were low, but I also wasn't in any rush to wean him completely. We were down to just 1 feed before bed, and we were both very resistant to dropping that feed. Both of us, meaning me and Scott. We were just still really enjoying it. And there was this part of me that was like, what if I force this weaning before I'm ready, just because I want this chance at a third baby that may not happen? Am I going to look back on this and regret weaning early for something that didn't even happen? Now, if you're not a breastfeeding mama, this probably sounds crazy to you. It's really hard to explain, and I think I have a lot of PTSD from not being able to nurse my first baby and having an extremely low supply, that the fact that I was able to breastfeed Scott for 2 years was just incredible, and I didn't want to let that little piece of our bond go. But I finally said, okay, I'm going to call the clinic. I'm going to put a hard deadline on myself. This will force me to drop that last feed, and I'm going to make an appointment for my next cycle, so my February cycle. So I call and make the appointment, and Alex and I are really excited to kind of move on to this next chapter of our family growing journey, right? Well, I end up taking a pregnancy test the day before my appointment, and it's positive. How these things happen, I don't know, but I've heard stories like this so much. Infertility moms that start working with a clinic, or they're about to do IVF, or they're about to adopt a baby, end up getting pregnant. I would think it has something to do with like your stress levels going down because you finally have a plan and it's outside of your hands. And then I don't know. All I know is I got pregnant. And we were shocked. We were like, well, obviously we're not going to the clinic now. We were in total disbelief. Keep in mind, I only have 1 fallopian tube because I lost one in an ectopic pregnancy. I was still breastfeeding, which lowers your chance. Doesn't delete your chance, but it does lower your chance of getting pregnant naturally. And I'm a previous infertility mama. So like, this was shocking that we got pregnant, and we felt so much peace with it. Like it was just meant to be. We were like, this is fate telling us that like this baby was meant to be part of our family. And we just felt so happy about it. And everyone felt happy about it. Our parents, our close friends, like everyone was just so thrilled. That pregnancy, unfortunately, did not stick, and we did end up losing it around 9 weeks. I am considering making a whole separate video on it because it was a new type of miscarriage for me. I've had a lot of different types, and I don't want to continue making videos about pregnancy loss over and over again. It puts me in a bad headspace, but the amount of comments that I've gotten and the amount of emails and the amount of DMs on Instagram I've gotten from moms who have gone through infertility and my videos has helped them is everything. The fact that those videos and that chapter of so much pain in my life is helping even one person, it makes it worth it. And so I do think that I want to do a video completely on that experience. Every miscarriage is different and every miscarriage is painful. This one was a completely new type of miscarriage than I had had previously. It was my 4th loss, and I do think it would be beneficial to people who are going through it. So I will do that, and I will try to do that as one of my next-ish videos. Remember, I have those 2 other videos I'm going to try to put up first that are older, and then I'm hoping to be able to start making some current content. So I can do a video on that, but basically all I'm going to say in this video is we did end up losing that pregnancy. It was devastating. All losses are devastating no matter how early or late or whatever they are. It's heartbreaking when you're so excited for a baby and the baby does not stick. And I think if I was telling the story and I wasn't currently pregnant again, it would be I'd be in a much different headspace. I would be much more upset. It is easier to look back on losses when you have a healthy baby kicking you currently in your tummy. And so anyone who watches that video who is currently going through a loss, I feel so badly for you. I feel for you. My heart goes out to you. Let's move on from that. That can be its own video. I ended up going to the OB at the very end of that loss to have my annual that was already scheduled beforehand. And I told him, I was like, I'm at the tail end of bleeding out this miscarriage, can I still do the exam and stuff? And they were like, yeah, so everything was fine. And then about 10 days later, I started feeling like my hormones were doing something weird. I thought I was maybe about to ovulate. So I took an ovulation test and it was a blazing positive, even though I know my body really well and it didn't seem like it should be yet. It seemed like it should be gearing up, but not yet. If you've tracked your body for a while, you might know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get into it. But anyway, I got this inkling to take a pregnancy test. Keep in mind, when I had been at my appointment 10 days prior, they did a final beta HCG test to make sure that my levels had gone down to 0, and it had. I took a pregnancy test and it was positive. My first thought was, is this the same baby? I had been down to 0, my hormone numbers, so I knew that it wasn't, but it also didn't make sense to me. I was like, I don't know, the math isn't mathing here. So I called my OB and I was like, I have another positive test. And they were like, you need to come in for blood work. So I went in, they did my blood work, the numbers were good. We didn't know how far along I was. This was on a Friday. They were like, you need to come in Monday and get some repeat blood work done. So I went in on Monday and the numbers had risen enough that they were like, okay, this pregnancy looks like it's doing what it needs to be doing. Let's schedule you in for an early scan, because I have had an ectopic, so they do like to see me right at 6 weeks. It's basically a placement scan just to make sure that the baby's in the right spot. So I went in at 6 weeks and my symptoms were so intense, you guys, throwing up already every day, so sick. And I went in and I was just like, there has to be a baby in there because I feel so sick. And sure enough, there was a baby with a heartbeat. And I was so confused, so happy, but so confused. Because keep in mind, there was only 10 days of space in between the end of my bleeding and me getting a positive test. And it felt like it was still the same pregnancy. There hadn't been enough time for me to even fully close the chapter in my mind on the last one. It was a very confusing time for me. I'm currently 22 and a half weeks pregnant and I can feel baby kicking right now. We do know the sex of the baby, but we are keeping it to ourselves for now. I don't know how I'm going to announce that. With my last baby, we knew it for a while. We kept it to ourselves, and then I ended up doing a video where I did old wives' tales, and we did a vote, not a vote, a tally of whether it said I was gonna have a boy or whether it said a girl, and then at the end I said what it was. So I might do something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna do a big gender reveal thing, because we actually did do a family gender reveal. It was the first one we've ever done. With James, Alex and I just read the results by ourselves. With Scott, we had all of our family over and we basically opened the email with the results, read it ourselves and then just said what it was to our family. With this one, Blair was like, you know, you keep saying this is probably your last baby. We should do like a real gender reveal, not like a big one. But she went to Target and she got a blue outfit and a pink outfit and a gift bag. And she was like, you know, pick one person to read the result. They can pack the gift bag and then you can open it in front of everyone and that can be like the reveal. I was so sick and so nervous that I just like sat there wanting to throw up the whole time. I did not want to be there. I did not want to be doing the gender reveal in that moment. I didn't feel like I could handle it. I felt like I needed to run to the bathroom to like throw up. This pregnancy has been by far the sickest one out of all my pregnancies, with vomiting and nausea. But it finally went away at 18 weeks and I'm feeling some relief. And it is like, I feel like a new person. Like I honestly, for a while there, got in a pretty like dark place. Not like dark, but just like really sad, really depressed. I felt like I was never going to feel like myself again. I was just so stressed out about it. So anyway, I am feeling better, out of breath, as you can tell, but other than that, feeling pretty good. So I've gotten off topic. I was talking about moving Glam Planner. So we moved to the new spot in November and then I got pregnant and then I lost that baby and then I got pregnant again. Anyway, during all this time, I started realizing how silly it was to have Glam Planner so far away. I think it was the pregnancy and then the loss and then like I was enrolling James in school and it's just all these things like piled on me at once and I was like, this is insane. Why is my business 4.5 hours away? Yes, I should have thought of this 5 years ago, but I didn't. And so I was like, I'm just ready to move it home. So I did. Alex and I went up, we got movers, we got a U-Haul, and we moved Glam Planner here. It is in this room. And it's been a little bit of a process because obviously I had a lot more stuff than what was gonna fit in one room. So we have a lot of stuff in storage in the house, in air conditioning. Machines and stickers and paper and stuff is all sensitive to heat and cool. So I have a good amount of the inventory in this room so I can fill orders. The shop will be live by the time I put this video up. So I'm actually about to open it later on this afternoon and do my first orders from here. And I'm kind of excited and kind of nervous. So yeah, anyway, Glam Planner's here, pregnant with baby 3. Last thing I wanted to talk about was Blair's wedding. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful, beautiful wedding. Oh my gosh, she had it at this gorgeous hotel in downtown Nashville called the Hermitage. It was stunning, like old glam, vintage. Her dress was like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Her now husband is so cute. You guys, they met at Walgreens. I love it. I love it. I told Blair, I said this in the speech because I was her matron of honor. I said in the speech, I was like, you know, you've been looking for him for like your whole life and we didn't even know he was at Walgreens. We've been CVS girls. And he was just hanging out at Walgreens. So next time you need to buy a COVID test and you go to Walgreens, make sure you look out because you might find your husband, because Blair did. She went up to him and she said, and I quote, "Are you single?" And he goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "Are you gay?" And he goes, "No." And she goes, "Can I have your number?" And now they're married and I just love it. Like, I love it. I thought no one could top like Alex and my love story because like ours is pretty cute. Theirs is pretty cute. The wedding was beautiful. It was a 3-day event. We got to see so many family members. Like some of these family members weren't even able to make it out to my wedding because it was all the way in California. So some of these people I hadn't seen in like a decade or more. It was just so much fun to be able to talk to everyone and for all of the little like second cousins to meet. So there were tons of little boys just running around and playing. And honestly, someone asked me on Instagram, they were like, being at Blair's wedding, did it make you miss your wedding? And I was like, no, because actually it was so nice to be able to hang out with all my extended family at once and not have the pressure of being the bride. Like I was able to just hang out with people and it just was really, really nice. So I'm kind of coming down from that high right now. That was a really, really good time. I'm hoping Blair will have kids kind of soon so that her kids and my kids won't be too far away in age. I was joking with her and I was like, you have a few more months to get pregnant and still be, you know, like pregnant at the same time as me, because this probably is our last baby. Like it really, 3 is, yeah, I'm 36. My OB was like, you're a little bit more mature this time. And I'm like, oh, you. I can't see myself going through that first trimester sickness again that I had with this one. Like I don't think I'd survive it another time. It was so awful, but worth it, obviously. but like awful in the moment. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope to be back with more videos. I am gonna try to put those 2 older ones up, and then I will see what you guys wanna see. Leave me comments below with requests. If you haven't been following me on Instagram, I have been more active over there. I posted some organizational content. Someone is weed eating outside, if you can hear that. Yeah, so you can check out Instagram if you want, and TikTok, but I'm more active on Instagram, so okay. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.